Thank you, Salva, and a huge welcome from me to everybody. It is such a great pleasure for me to be back here in Tromsø at Arctic Frontiers. So I will begin by telling you that I love the theme of this year's conference, Smart Arctic. It is time, surely, for all of us to think very hard about how we can be smart. Because I have to tell you, it is with a little relief that I got on my plane to leave London and come to Tromsø, because my country, it seems to me, is not being terribly smart right now. You could argue a Brit is the last person you need to hear from when we're talking about a smart common future. But leaving that aside, perhaps there are some things I can bring with me in terms of messages and sort of insights which can help the Arctic avoid some of the problems that we in Britain are going through right now. And it isn't just Britain, to be honest, is it? Because if we look around the world, we look at, well, Senator, it's a great pleasure to have you here, but I was going to say, if we look at the United States, I'm not going to make cheap shots about the wisdom or not of the current president, the incumbent of the White House, but the fact is the government is shut down right now. There are real serious political problems in the United States. There's a partisanship, a toxic atmosphere in politics, which is not smart and which is not helping the United States show the sort of leadership that we all in the world know we need from the United States of America. We can look elsewhere. We can look at the rise of populism and nationalism in many parts of the world, including our own Europe. We can look at trade wars and the degree to which we are fearful that the notion we have had for a long time of a world which has learned how to be respectful, to trade openly, to begin to dismantle borders rather than build them up, that world is changing. And not changing in a way that seems to me to be terribly positive, not just for ourselves, but for our next generation. So, I think being smart is very important, and I hope over the next couple of days we can talk intelligently and smartly about the future of the Arctic. I do know for sure we've got a wonderful cast list of panelists, contributors, and speakers whom I know you're going to really enjoy hearing from. My job over the coming couple of days is to be a guide and a moderator and a chairman, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But I should also say, I very much want this to be interactive and engaging for everybody here. So we're going to have speakers, we're going to have panel discussions, but I will make a real point of leaving time as much as I can for our roving microphones to get thoughts and questions from all of you, so that this really is a conversation that engages us all, not simply people talking at you from this podium. It is very important that we make this as interactive as possible. In the same spirit, I should say that we're streaming this both live on the internet in, obviously, English. And Eili, I so loved your point about being bilingual or more being a hugely important asset for the brain. Sadly, my brain missed that message early in life, and because I'm British and arrogantly assume so many people around the world can speak my language, I haven't quite achieved what you've achieved. But nonetheless, we are streaming this not just as it happens, but we're also streaming a Russian translation. So people can watch this in Russian as well on the internet. So there's a great deal to get through. Just to give you a very brief heads up on how this is going to work, tomorrow we're devoting really the best part of our conversation to the specific topics surrounding the ocean. I mean, the Arctic Ocean is such a huge part of the discussion about the future of the Arctic and its regions. So tomorrow we're very much focusing on the ocean. Today, though, we're going to be talking about communities, we're talking about the power of knowledge, but we're going to start by talking about and laying out the sort of geopolitical situation that the Arctic is in, the realities of power in the Arctic today. And we've got a wonderful lineup of speakers to do that with you, and then we're going to have panel discussion following. So my first job is to introduce our keynote speakers, which I will do right now. So first of all, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite up onto the podium the Foreign Minister of Norway, a woman that is now very well known on the international stage, certainly very well known to you. So please give a very warm welcome to Ine Eriksen Søreide. Minister, over to you.